Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Kryptonian saying here, bringing you guys another review for Black Clover Chapter 323. And first and foremost, we got to go ahead and give a round of applause and celebration for Yami, because not only is he using his dark magic and he's using world tree magic via the sword that William gave him, but also Tabata did something that I said back in October when I first started doing Black Clover videos over on this channel. I've made a video titled "The Major Cost of Yami's Return in Black Clover. Yami's devil power could change everything." And in that video, one of the things I said was that, hey, I really think that when Yami does inevitably come back, we have the potential of Yami possessing devil power. Well, in this episode right here, when Gray is attempting to heal Yami, one of the things we find out is that Yami's body has changed, and Gray goes as far as to say that it's almost like the devil that possessed Asta. Physically, he's all torn up, but he's brimming to the full tip with magic. And what I like about this is that this is going to explain how Yami is going to be able to do some major damage to Lucifero, because not only does he have his dark magic and he has his world tree magic via William, but also he has potential devil power-ups that come with this. And what I like about that is that it opens up the door for Yami to be able to recreate those conditions of the Quillif. However, in this situation, be able to actually seal Lucifero away. I think that that's the direction that Tabata's going. And what I like about this is that after Yami is surrounded by his harem, after he has Gray there, he has Vanessa getting all panties wet when she's looking at him. In that moment after this, you see his Patry and William Vangeance show up, and we get the revelation that Yami's going to be given Vangeance's sword. And Yami does the one thing that was long overdue in the eyes of a lot of people, not in mine, but in the eyes of a lot of people. A lot of people felt that William Vangeance had done enough to where he needed to be forgiven, that bashing the dude's head in was no longer justified. And I kind of understand it. I'll admit it. I just personally don't like him after what happened with the Elf Invasion arc. In this situation right here, Yami directly is kind of like talking to the audience, and he's like, look, I'm going to call things even here. When we go back home, you and we're going to go off for a drink. And what I like about this is that was kind of almost just shutting the door on what Vangeance did in the past. And that's like one of the things, like with a shonen, forgiveness is always going to be part of it. So it's one of those things where I understand what Tabata's going for, even though I personally don't like it. I understand where he's going with it. Men learn to forgive, and that's one of the messages that you have to kind of hammer home, especially in a chapter like this, on where you get Yami having to basically talk his way through what the emotions were of not, like, it's one of those things where you can't have Yami give him that type of a lecture and him not be able to forgive Vangeance at the same time. So I understand narratively. I have to say, the panel where Yami is drawn blocking Lucifero and you see the back muscles and you see the veins popping out, very freaking beautiful in terms of how that was drawn, and just choosing that particular angle. What's so great about that is that basically the captain is taking a step forward for the vice captain. I like seeing that, and I like how Lucifero immediately is like, oh, this is the dark magic user, and he don't play no games right there. He's like, man, I gotta get this dude out of here. He just sends this dude flying off. But before we can even get to a moment where Lucifero can even target Asta, that's when Zora and Nero just show up, and we see the most hilarious thing ever. So Zora, with all those traps that he has, Zora has the trap magic, and it ends up being monomethod sealing magic. And basically in this time right here, they're just trying to buy 30 seconds. And what I like about that is that it's just showing, like it did with the Magna versus Dante fight, that even with the weaker members of the Black Bulls, you can't count these guys out. They're gonna find a way to catch your ass slipping if you're not careful. I thought this was a beautiful use of a double page spread right here. Like the way that a majority of the page is just devoted to the sealing magic, and then everything around it in an L-shaped pattern is just the reaction to it. I love seeing that, and I like that shot where Nat's like, hey, I don't care if I die. And in that moment right there, you get all these flashbacks and you get the internal monologue where he's like, man, like, seeing you reminds me how I used to be. I hated that version of myself. Get away from me. I took Morgan away from you. We got somebody that's really content with dying. And for a moment, I thought like he might actually sacrifice himself. However, Yami says some real shit to him. Yami says that, look, man, you're going to keep on living and help out enough people for Morgan too. Anyway, it's not like people even need a reason to save their friends. And what I like right there is that that's basically Yami saying, like, look, fam, I know you've been through some fucked up shit, but you and we are in this together. I am not going to let you die here. To live is to suffer, but to survive is to find meaning into that suffering. And that's basically what Yami's trying to tell him. You want to make a change? This is how you make the change. You let your balls drop and you find a way to push forward. And I like how Yami in that time right there where he's basically looking at him saying, you're my friend, I'm going to find a way to save you. The light switch goes off and you see what makes Yami an X factor as a leader, because Nat's whole demeanor changes in that moment. You have this moment where the two of them are standing side by side. They're like, oh, this is supposed to be the king of the devils. Let's go have some fun with them. What I like right here is that essentially in this time, what Tabata is opening up the door for is you have potentially 3 people who are going to be using devil magic in order to fight off the king of the devils. I like that. And I think it's actually symbolic when you look at it from this perspective right here, because it opens up the door for Nat and Yami and Asta to basically be the Black Bull's version of the Dark Triad and basically turn those tables over on Lucifero. I like what you're seeing there. What this essentially does is it allows us to kind of book into the very beginning of this arc, and I really feel like we're going to see something where Yami kind of takes the lead here, because it feels like Yami's been custom built to seal away Lucifero. It kind of feels like that's what's being telegraphed here. The only thing on here is that in the back of my mind, I look at this and I say, we still have the Lichta plot thread that has not been addressed yet. And we haven't really seen Libe doing much in terms of talking right now. So it's one of those things where I do think that that is going to be something that pops back up. I just don't know how Tabata plans on actually using that aspect of it. But right now, I'm happy with what we got. I think we had some beautiful artwork in this chapter, very expressive in terms of just like the shading done underneath Nat's eyes. Very nice overall. So, I mean, overall, this was a good chapter, man. So what I want to know from you guys is, how do you feel about Yami potentially having devil magic that he can use? What do you guys think? And do you think that Yami can use that in combination with dark magic and world tree magic to seal away Lucifero? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching to the end. Have an awesome day, guys.